Hello and welcome to the Live Talk series. I'm your host, John Bakari. Today we have a very interesting topic. We're going to talk about two people from Connecticut who are abolitionists. They are Harriet Beecher Stowe and John Brown. In 1861, the Civil War started because the South kept the tradition that African Americans would be treated as slaves and work for the white people for the rest of their lives. But the North did not like the idea of treating African Americans this way. This The North wanted African Americans to be equal so they could enjoy their lives and happily. The South decided to separate the nation, but the North fought to keep the country together. Not too many people know that the Uncle Tom's Cabin, written by Harriet Beecher Stowe, influenced the world that slavery is wrong. Harriet Beecher Stowe was born on June 14, 1811. She was from a very religious family and she was very quiet, but she wanted to end slavery as soon as possible. However, this was this was hard. This was hard because it was a very sensitive issue before the Civil War started. Harriet Beecher Stowe had a passion about writing. She talked to some of the slaves about their stories when she lived for a time in Ohio. She heard she heard how they got separated from their loved one. Then she started her book by naming it Uncle Tom's Cabin or Life Among the Lowly. After publishing her book became very popular and was read around the world. Her book became an inspiration to all and supported that she wrote. This is how Harry Beecher Stowe got famous after 10 years, the book was published. Harry Beecher Stowe met Abraham Lincoln, and when Abraham Lincoln met Harry Beecher Stowe, he shook her hand and said to her, "So this is the author of the Great War." That is it for Harry Beecher Stowe. We'll be right back from a break and we'll discuss our next person, John Brown. Thank you very much. Welcome back from the break. Our next person is John Brown, born May 19, 1800 in Torrington, Connecticut. Was from a family that also disliked slaves, but as John Brown grew up, he didn't like the idea of African American people being slaves. So what he wanted to do was free the slaves and support the North, but he could not support it at a very high level. But not having much money, as he started as operating conductor in the Underground Railroads, but as he kept helping the slaves being transferred to the North or to Canada. But John Brown moved a lot to places like Pennsylvania, New York, Ohio, etc. John Brown, John Brown kept moving. And as he kept moving, he also got very famous. But he made a lot of friends and also wanted to attack the and wanted to raid the Harper Ferry in Virginia. Now it's West Virginia. He and two sons and 20 other men raid and attacked the Harper Ferry, Virginia. But in the beginning, they were kind of like successful. But after a while, men started like suddenly men got injured and some got killed and some got captured. And after a little while, both of his sons got killed, and Brown himself got injured and finally gave up. But his plan was to raid and use the arsenal weaponry to help the North and ending slavery. And he wanted to use the weapon of arsenally to use it and help the North, obviously, fighting with it. And but then after a while, John Brown was hanged and he got killed. But he inspired a lot of people, so that is why the country's won today because of him. So that's it for me, guys. Thank you for listening, and that's it for our broadcast. Hope to see you next time. Thank you.